Hello racing fans, and a warm welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for Saturday, the 6th of January. Of course, it's one of the major feature race days on the South African racing calendar. It's the Lomaran's King's Plate 2024, and that is the headliner. And what a race it promises to be. Of course, there is a sweetener to the day added by the operator, and that will be race number 6. And wow, the last carryover we had in Cape Town, that pick 6 paid 3 million. Well, they're expecting 5 million with that carryover of R1 million with the standalone meeting. Well, hopefully it does get to that figure, because there are some supporting features that have attracted some quality. So let's get straight into it. And as always, we welcome our analyst down in Cape Town, Graham Hawkins, and I trust that you, the racing fan, as well, and looking forward to this race meeting. Graham, wonderful that we kick off the new year with a great race meeting from the Western Cape.
Yeah, what a way to start the new year from a racing perspective. High quality racing, fantastic renewal of the King's Plate. See it again, and Charles Dickens going head to head, and of course many other quality racehorses make up that field, including recent Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas winner, Snow Pilot, 3-year-olds versus the 4-year-olds. That's going to be interesting. The same story in the Paddock Stakes, 3-year-olds against the 4-year-olds, and the Paddock Stakes comes prior to the running of the King's Plate, the Cartier Paddock Stakes. And if by some chance Princess Keller is overturned by Red Palace or Beach Bomb, that'll certainly perhaps throw a different light on what the potential outcome could be of the King's Plate, given that Princess Keller's got form very close to see it again.
Well, let's get straight into it, Graham. We've got 9 races to negotiate, and I know of late, I'm going to use the word because that's exactly what it's been, and some of the results have been volatile down in Cape Town. So hopefully it turns the punters' way, and we have many winners in that pick 6. Let's get straight into it. Race number 1. Yeah, this is something that they started a few seasons back. It's an Okapi Ladies International Maiden Plate over 1,200 meters. And let's get into the betting. Graham, there's a lot of action with betting moves throughout the race meeting. I'm going to read that out to the guys. Race number 1, horses in single figures. Al Kruger, by the way, is on number 2. That's at 6-1. Number 4 from 7-1. Hollywoodbets been punted into 5-1. 7 at 7-2. 9 at 5-1. Then we got 10 at 6-1. Number 12, the US of A, Graham. This has attracted plenty of betting support, is now trading at 9-2. And of course, we know who rides. That is the missus of our very own Gavin Larina Vicky. Graham, the first race, it is, if you want to get involved, I think guys that want to have a punt on the head, it is high risk because of the inexperience of these riders. But that said, there is money to be made in bets like trifectas and quartets.
A lot of value around the betting wide, as you've mentioned. They've slapped a pair of blinkers onto number 7, Gravity, to be ridden by Semenza Valjallo, runner-up in its last 2 starts. So Gravity, the blinkers go on because cutting back to 1,200 meters, good form. And down the straight, last couple of runs have been at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, third runners at Gelding. So I do think the number 7, Gravity, sets a standard. And if you're looking to play the quartet, possibly one of your roving bankers. As you say, there's been a lot of money for number 12, the US of A, owned by our good friend Robert Bloomberg. We know he likes to have a touch. Not a bad debut. Vicky Larina, who finished downfield in this race last year, will be looking to set the record straight. So healthy respect for number 12, the US of A. Obvious chances to number 8, Give Me the Limelight. Good value at current odds of 12-1. Number 9, Whistles on Fire, has got to have a chance. 4, River Stone. Gareth Van Sale saddles both of those 2 runners, 4, River Stone and 9, Whistles on Fire. And then number 2, Noonday Gun. Those seem to be the principles, along with perhaps number 10, Love Shack. But I'm going to suggest that number 7, Gravity, is the right roving bank. As you said, it's difficult, given the inexperience of the riders, the sense of occasion, to nail your colours to the mask. But Gravity does look the one they all have to beat. Kelsey Mayhew, Munga, Ryan's wife, has flown out from Canada to ride number 8, Give Me the Limelight. I think that must be thrown into all bets at a big price.
Graham's going with number 7, Gravity, as the roving banker. I think the way to go, I must say that whatever the result, regardless of how they're betting, you'll get cash here, trifectas and quartets, and hopefully it's a flying start for you. Bang some cash and let's move along into the first exotic, the bipod, race number 2. It's the Trippy Stakes. It's over 1,000 meters. Lots of unknowns in this field, Graham. I'll give you the betting as a guide. Number 3, Sound of the Sea, from 20 to 1, that's been backed into 10 to 1. Number 4, Roman Agent, active betting market. There's 4 to 1 into 5 to 2. Number 5, from 10 to 1 into 5 to 1. Number 9 is trading at 5 to 1. 13 at 7 to 1. 14 is a scratching at the time of recording. And then it is 10 to 1 and better the balance. What a race to kick off the bipod here, Graham. I think for most players, you can't be confident in any of your selections. It's going to be survival here in leg 1 of that bipod, Graham.
Yeah, I've gone very wide, including the scratchy number 14, Master Casper, just in case the tote favourite does end up running into the top 2. Clearly, number 4, Roman Agent, caught the eye in a big way when second on debut behind Lion Rampart. He had number 13, Bjorn Ironside, behind him on that occasion. I fancy that number 13, Bjorn Ironside, is going to show a lot of improvement, and they may finish closer together. As you've mentioned, a few market springers. Number 5, One Stripe. He topped the ready-to-run sale. He was the sensation of the ready-to-run sale. He was sold initially for 100,000 Rand at the 2-year-old sale, resold for 1.4 million Rand at the ready-to-run sale, and Vaughan Marshall described it as the best ready-to-run gallop that he's ever seen. Now, we know that he's a fan of One World. We know that he stepped out a couple of winners already, and many of those have been partnered by Bernard Faye-Durb. So the money for number 5, One Stripe, has certainly got to be respected. You mentioned a bit of money around for number 3, Sound of the Sea, half-brother to Shantyman, and half-brother to Ripple Effect, who runs later on in the Scepter Stakes. So Sound of the Sea's got a very, very quick pedigree. Of course, the only winner in the race is number 9, Sweetie Darling, who won on debut, and Sahara Cat flattered that form. Earn Bell D, number 11, also that Lion Rampart form. Plenty of scope for improvement. Number 12, Mauritius Kestrel, is a full brother to the leading 2-year-old African Warrior. He was the sales top at the KZN yearling sale at 750,000. So there's lots on offer here. The form book may well show that Roman Agent is a potential bipod banker, given his very promising debut, the fact that he's likely to improve further. He's got a hell of a pedigree. But I've gone very, very wide. As you'll see later on when we post my bipod bet up, I've gone very wide in this leg.
Well, I think that this could be the curtain raiser for that juvenile feature to come at the end of the month. So look sharp. There could be a form line to follow here in race number 2. As Graham mentioned, he's playing it wide. His suggested bet is the bipod. We'll have a look at that at the end of the show. So survival race number 2. And Graham has given you some thoughts on a few of the first timers as well. Race number 3, start of the place accumulator. This is over 1,000 meters. It's a sprint cup. I see the name Franschhoek Motor Museum, Winchester Sprint Cup. I haven't visited that motor museum, if there is one in Franschhoek, Graham. I don't know if you have, but it sounds Lani, that. 1,000 meters. Okay, let's go to the betting. Number 1 at 7 to 2. Number 3 at 8 to 1. 11 to 10. Number 4, Isi Vungu Vungu. Then we move along to a scratching in number 9 that was in single figures, and it's double figures, the balance. I think we have to look at the best weighted column firstly, Graham, and it is well clear number 4, Isi Vungu Vungu, the champion Equus sprinter of the year from last season, makes his seasonal debut, and after him, it's very tight between Thunderstruck, Hunting Trip, Bereave, and Rio Carrari. But he's a clear standout. Graham, I just want to give you Peter Muscat's comments in the front of the form guide I'm using, which is the computer form. Forward enough to do himself justice. I think that says it all about what he thinks of this horse coming back and having his first run this season.
Yes, obviously in a very good space is Isi Vungu Vungu, and he's had a gallop, and obviously this is part of his preparation for the Grade 1 Cape Flying Championship later on this month. Richard Faree has partnered Isi Vungu Vungu on 7 occasions for 5 wins, the second and the third, and clearly Isi Vungu Vungu is entitled to his position as a firm favourite. The best weighted column speaks volumes, but it'll be a hell of a trading feat for him to come out sharp and ready to take on this field under 62 kilograms after a 6 months rest, given that most of the opposition are in good form and have had recent runs, including, of course, Thunderstruck and Rio Karari and others. So if Isivungu pulls this off, it's one hell of a run and one hell of a training feat. He is the clear favourite. There's a spread of weight of 12 kilograms in this race. And by the way, yes, I have visited the Motor Museum, and it's a must visit. Must add it to your bucket list. Many of these cars will no doubt be on show at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on the race day, but there are so many more to be seen at the Motor Museum. So I've gone very wide in this race as well. I've got my two bankers later on, the two obvious bankers, which hopefully will deliver on the day. Isivungu is my top choice. My second choice is number 1, Thunderstruck, then number 2, Bereave, and number 3, Rio Karari. I think number 5, Mr. Cobbs. He often flashes up in these types of races. He's carrying 54. He's receiving 8 kilograms. On his very best form, he could surprise them. And if you look at the best weighted column, number 10, Hunting Trip, who's on offer at 40 to 1 with just 50 kilograms on her back, and Josh Solomon, who often is the source of a major upset. She's well up there in the best weighted column, so I'm not letting number 10, Hunting Trip, run loose. I might have read this race completely wrongly, Dees. I admit that up front. I'm looking to take on Isivungu. I'd be the first to shout him home if he's brave enough, forward enough, fit enough. He's certainly good enough to win this race. But given the rest, given the good form of those around him, I'm looking to take him on, particularly the fact that he's having his seasonal debut as late as January.
Graham, I actually pulled out his profile, and it's the same prep that they gave him last year. He ran on the 30th towards the end of last year, on the 30th of July 2022. And then he came back and he ran in this race last year, Graham, and he ran a second to Mr. Cobbs. That was with...
4 kilograms worse off now.
Correct. Yeah, 100%. So, you could be onto something here, but just taking this horse on.
Mr. Cobbs won this race last year.
Correct.
Carrying the same weight as he carries this year. Isivungu carried 58 under Christoph Sumayon last year. Isivungu is up to 62. So yes, he runs well fresh, but weight can be a great leveler. We know his rating is a high one. He raced off a much lower rating then. But yeah, you never know. I just think that there are a couple of live wires amongst the long shots.
Well, his weight turnaround, as Graham mentioned, but it's the fastest horse from point A to point B. And could he be the fastest finisher here? Well, he's an Equus champion. He's a star, isn't he? But Graham is going to take him on, and that could prove costly, or it could prove money on the button, because you will drop tickets if this horse misses the top 2 in race number 3, which is the start of the place accumulator. I say top 2 for the bipod. Imagine if he misses the PA. Wow, that will be a big result for you. Race number 4 is the start of the big one, the Pick 6. I mentioned that sweetener at the top of the show from the operator, R1 million, estimated pool 5 million rand. These Pick 6s are difficult to catch anywhere around the country. But in Cape Town, we've seen some rough results towards the end of 2023. Hopefully, the trend turns the punters' way in the new year. Cartier Scepter Stakes, Group 2, 1,200 meters. The way they're betting here, Graham, horses in single figures, that is number 3, October Morn, from 6 to 1, that's into 7 to 2. Number 7 at 7 to 2. Number 8, Roscova, is at 8 to 1. Then we got 12 Winter Cloud Hollywoodbets, 14 to 1 into 10 to 1. 15 Golden Horse Test at 7 to 1. It's double figures, the balance. Graham, again, let's begin with the best weighted column. Of course, it's topped by number 15 Golden Horse Test at a 119. Clear of numbers 6, 5, 2, and 7. 6, 5, 2, and 7 are the next best there if you are a rating follower and one that goes with weights, etc. 1,200 meters, Graham. I actually want to begin with a horse called Roscova, Graham, because when you look at her CV, her 3 wins have been at odds of 40 to 1, 33 to 1, and 40 to 1. And she's caused this type of upset in Pick 6s in the past, Graham. So she just keeps coming up on punters because they show very little interest in her, Graham.
Yeah, she always starts a big price, doesn't she? And she's certainly got the ability to win a race of this nature. She's been a solid runner for Sandy and Eugene Arundel, and she's always had a nice touch at those big odds because she likes to have a little flutter. But she's up against it here. I think she steps back to 1,200 meters. And if you just consider the 2 3-year-olds, number 7, Mrs. Geriatrics, and number 11, Raskova, despite the fact that there's a 1 kilogram difference in the weights, certainly on past form, Mrs. Geriatrics has got a measure. Mrs. Geriatrics is interesting because she steps back now, having tried the 1,400 and having tried the 1,600. She steps back to down the straight. She steps back to 1,200 meters. She steps back to a similar course and distance, if you will, as when she won the Alan Robertson Fillies Championship, beating Winter Cloud, who she meets here. So, yes, I know Scottsville and Kenilworth are not the same tracks, but they're quite similar in their typography. And the fact is they're both down the straight over 1,200 meters. So I'm expecting a much better run from number 7, Mrs. Geriatrics. But you can never ignore number 11, Raskova. Your point is well made. I do think, though, if you're trying to narrow this down, it could be Candice Bass-Robinson versus Sean Terry. I think all 3 of Candice Bass-Robinson's runners are very much alive. Number 3, October Morn, best course and distance. Number 12, Winter Cloud, much better than her last run at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Forget that run, she'll run well here. And it's interesting that Gareth Wright has chosen to ride Winter Cloud over October Morn. And then, of course, as you said, the best weighted horse, number 15, Golden Hostess. Probably better over slightly further, but a record over this course and distance is exceptional. Elder De Meyer rides. He may have chosen it even if he had the choice. He can't draw the weight on either October Morn or Winter Cloud, so perhaps he was forced. His hand was forced into Golden Hostess, but he might well have chosen that anyway. So it's those 3 versus Mrs. Geriatrics for me. That would be my short list. The next would be number 11, Raskova. And then, of course, number 2, 3, Roxette ran out of her skin behind Quintus Lass just the other day. So, but I'm going to narrow this down. I'm going to narrow this down to sort of 5 horses as far as the pick 6 is concerned. The 3 Candice Bass-Robinson's runners, Mrs. Geriatrics and Raskova. I'm not going to let Raskova run loose in the pick 6. You can, of course, go wider. It's a high-quality renewal of the Cartier Scepter Stakes. It can produce a result. Quintus Light is always a threat, but I think she's got a little more to do this time to beat October Morn over the extended sprint. So that's the kind of outcome I'm looking for, Dees.
Yeah, I think Graham has narrowed down nicely, and I like the comment on 3 Rocks. I mean, that 400 to finish was something, wasn't it, from the horse from Kabeja, number 2, 3 Rocks. So maybe if you're looking for one more, just on that last start, because we spoke about October Morn, who was one of the luckless horses in running last time out. But Graham's suggesting that it's Terry versus Bass, and it's Candice Bass-Robinson, and do not exclude Raskova. That could be a nice way to play it there. Go on other days of the couplings, because we could have saved a lot of cash there. But race number 5 is Jackpot 1, 1,800 meters. And this is the Premier Trophy. And it's Anthony Rupert Wine Premier Trophy, 1,800 meters. A Group 2, Graham. Yeah, there is quality here, but I like a horse, Graham, and I'm not going to be fazed by the opposition, but maybe you are going for cover. I'll tell you my selection. By the way, number 3, without question, is 25 to 1 into 10 to 1. Number 4, At My Command, 9 to 2 into 7 to 2. 33 to 10, number 5, Pacaya. 6, Mucho Dinero is at 11 to 2. 7, Sugar Mountain is at 8 to 1. And then it is 10 to 1 and Better the Balance. Graham, this horse, At My Command, Crawford and Zaki. I thought that was a tremendous performance from this individual last time out in the Green Point Stakes. He wouldn't have been out of place if he decided to go for the King's Plate. They opted to go for this race. And when I have a look at, some of these runs over further, like 2,000 meters, I see no issue with the distance, Graham. Again, the best weighted column is marginally topped by him. Number 4, At My Command at a 126. Then Rascallion at a 122, joint with number 3 without question. Then there is a gap to number 8, Waterbury Lane, and 2, Runaway Song. What's your thoughts on this horse, number 4, At My Command? Because he's got all the big names in his form line, Graham.
He's always been there and thereabouts behind the best in the land. He's been pumped up 10 pounds in the handicap.
Yes.
4 running second in the Green Point Stakes. So he makes his handicap debut, if you like, under this rating. And that's what makes him the best weighted column, because obviously this is not a handicap. This is a conditions type race. So the fact that he's top of the best weighted column is as a courtesy of that £10 penalty. Is he fully worth a £10 penalty? Well, this race will show us. And clearly, number 4, At My Command, is one of the clear, leading lights. And in fact, my second choice in the race, I'm going for the value here, D's. Last year's winner, similar prep, second best weighted, number 10, Rascallion. I can't believe he's at 16 to 1. 16 to 1. Now, he was a little way behind At My Command in the Greenpoint Stakes, but of course, this track and trip will suit him ideally. So Rascallion is my top choice ahead of number 4, At My Command. Then number 5, Pakaya, who is at the top of the betting boards. Now, if you go back, I know it's a long way back, but if you go back to the Greyville 1900, there's a massive swing around in the weights in favour of Rascallion over Pakaya. So on best form, I cannot see Pakaya finishing ahead of Rascallion, all things being equal and with no bad luck stories. Hopefully they don't punch up on the outside and create bad luck stories. Hopefully they spread across the track and give everybody a fair chance. And then, of course, number 3, without question, clearly comes into the race with a bit of a chance as well. So 10, 4, 5, and 3, my top 4. Number 6, Mucho Dinero. Well, we made him just about the best bet of the year last time out. We were all over him.
What a pick.
I can't believe he's not in the stayers race. He has obviously done well over this track and trip. He's had 2 starts for a win and a second. But I would have thought these days that Mucho Dinero, as he was last time, much better over 2,400 metres and distances of that ilk. But he runs here in preference to the stayers race later on. But I think he's got a mountain to climb here. So you're in the camp of number 4, At My Command. My second choice. I'm in the camp of number 10, Rascallion. Nice swingers, nice exactors.
Yeah, I think that was a fine pick by Graham, and I was also just thinking about this distance for Mucho Dinero, the way he won with Jose Ramzan last time out, and Graham made that a 5-star bet at the weights, and that was punted and won well. So, At My Command and Rascallion, if you're looking for the right 2 in the race, but we'll see what Graham has gone with his bar pot here in race number 5. A quality field, and we are expecting a great finish here to the running of race number 5. Race number 6, the Cartier Paddock Stakes. It's a Group 1 over 1,800 meters, one of the major Group 1 races for fillies and mares in the country. And let's see how they're betting here. Number 3, Red Palace, the up-and-coming 3-year-old at 3 to 1. Then we go on to number 4, Beach Bomb. That's been backed from Hollywoodbets from 5 to 1 into 3 to 1. And the balance are all in double figures. But before we go to Graham's assessment of the race, I've given him the lowdown with regards to the betting. Let's have a look at a rerun that the guys have pulled out for you.
Coming to the 300, and Dave the King with the lead, and Princess Calla, Zappateers. Between the two of them, see it again, MK's Pride. Dave the King, but Princess Calla's a big runner. Princess Calla and Dave the King over the last 100, but Princess Calla coming home strongly now. See it again, staking off late to get second. Third will go to Dave the King, and then Rascallion.
Yeah, that was what a way for her to just end off last season, and that was the race that clinched it for her to be crowned Horse of the Year, number 3, Princess Calla. I think the right rerun was picked out there because after that win, Graham, she's had 2 runs this season. What you made of those runs?
Yeah, I kind of think of Captain's Ransom at this time. You know, she went one season perhaps a little too far and kept getting beat, not running badly, but kept getting beat when she went into that extended season as a 5-year-old, and then they decided to retire her. I'm surprised that Princess Calla continues to race as a 6-year-old. She has a 3rd run after a rest, certainly no excuses this time. Nothing wrong with the 2 runs she's had. Second at Hollywoodbets Durbanville over 12.50 behind King Regent. Then in the Greenpoint Stakes, hit the front with 400 to go, run out of it by all of See It Again, At My Command, and of course Charles Dickens. No disgrace that, but a clear indication that perhaps she wasn't fully at her best that day. Richard Faree reports that she's doing really well at home. She's uneasy in the market. She's gone from 5 to 10 out to 6 to 10, now 7 to 10. No lack of support for both Red Palace and Beach Bomb, the 3-year-olds, to take her on. These are the only 3 that matter, certainly on paper anyway. Anyway, the other 4 appear just to be making up the numbers. So I've banked Princess Calla. in my bipod and See It Again, because I've gone very wide in the first 4 legs, as you will see later on. But both Red Palace and Beach Bomb have got to be alive. Beach Bomb won the World Sports Betting Fillies Guineas in very, very good style, and Red Palace pressed Snow Pilot all the way to the line. Now, it's interesting, Dees, because as I mentioned earlier, if for some reason Princess Keller gets overturned by Red Palace and Beach Bomb, and given the form that she's shown against See It Again, that will certainly bring Snow Pilot and Shlui in with brighter chances that we might be giving them at the moment. They're betting 16 to 1 bar the 2 in the King's Plate, obviously. But I'm going to give Princess Keller, I say, the benefit of the doubt, because is she as good now as she was last season? As I mentioned, we saw with Captain's Ransom, when you tried to milk the cow a little bit beyond where one should have perhaps, they paid the price for that in the fact that she got beat a couple of times when we were not expecting her to get beat. We're not expecting Princess Keller to get beat, but she is a 6-year-old now. Her 2 runs have shown she's vulnerable, but no excuses. She'll strip very fit and up and ready. But Red Palace, I think, is going to, in particular, I think Red Palace is going to give her a good go for top honours.
Graham, not that I want to twist your arm to include the horse or to suggest, but you made Sarki such a good thing last time out. If guys bank that, it was a 5-legged pick 6 that paid $3 million. For a horse that's done you well in the past, do you include them in the pick 6? If they've rewarded you, or you just have a look and you say, nah, the conditions are against the horse this time round?
Well, I don't know if you've got to, Sarki. Yeah, Sarki, and then you've got to bring in Happy Chance, and really, are they Group 1 material? I would have to say to you, Happy Chance and Sarki in any normal discussion would not be considered Group 1 material. Red Palace has shown she's Grade 1 material. Beach Bomb has shown she's Grade 1 material. Princess Keller has shown us over and over and over again against the boys and the girls and over any distance that she's Grade 1 material. So Princess Keller deserves to win this. She deserves to be favourite. But if there are any chinks in her armour, then Red Palace and Beach Bomb could be there to pick up the pieces.
Okay, Graham's hoping that if anything has to happen, then it's the 2 3-year-olds, the classy 3-year-olds, numbers 2 and 4 could be the dangers. But he's hoping that the champion horse of the year of last season can bounce back to her very best and get things rolling this season. That's none other than Princess Keller. On to the main event. It is the main event because it's a Lomeran's King's Plate. It's a Group 1, one of the premier 1,600 meters races in the country. Weight for age. And Graham, I think before I even go to the betting, let me whet your appetite and the appetite of our valued racing fans. We have 2 reruns.
Comes Green with Envy and Questioning. Shishlui still got 3 to make up, but the filly Red Palace in front, pressed by Snow Pilot. Green with Envy and Shishlui late on the scene. Red Palace, Snow Pilot grabbed the lead and Snow Pilot ran down Red Palace. Third got close. Shishlui's involved with Green with Envy. Charles Dickens in a matter of strides went from last to nearly first. Second place is Princess Keller and See It Again. Here the 3 that we came to see, but See It Again came into the lead. He has Charles Dickens on the ropes. Then comes Princess Keller and At My Command. But what a performance from See It Again. That is out of the top draw. What a prep. See It Again has beaten At My Command. Charles Dickens ran 3rd and Princess Keller was 4th.
Well, just having a look at that, those reruns, of course, you can refer to a horse that Graham mentioned in the previous race, which was, of course, Red Palace, and that was in the same race. What a run from the filly there. And we can go to Snow Pilot and say, I thought that was a tremendous ride by J.P. van der Merwe. As cool as you want, he just bided his time on that outside running rail, and he knew the horse that he had, which had to give over the final 200 meters, which the son of Lancaster Bomber did. And then See It Again. Now, Graham, last season he was great. He was a great horse. He won those, the Cape Derby to start off with in Cape Town. We know he went on to win the Daily News. We know he put in the performance of the race in the Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Some will say he was unlucky in the Champions Cup. He was a great 3-year-old. But from what we saw, and I know you watched the race, you would have watched the replays. I don't know if you watched it now, Graham, the replay that we played. From what I saw last time out in that Green Point Stakes, Graham, I think from a great horse, we could see a greater horse as a 4-year-old.
Well, Michael, Michael Roberts, his trainer, certainly believes that. He believes he's stepped up again. He believes he's matured nicely, furnished well, and has improved and has legitimate claims to being the best horse in the land. This will be an asset test. I still believe 1,600 meters is at the lower end of his range. Clearly 2,000 meters, very much different in the forthcoming Met. We'll see him being a firm favourite. We're not sure we'll see Charles Dickens on that occasion. Time will tell. But for me, it is an absolute two-horse race. This year's renewal of the Lawrence King's Plate. I'm not looking beyond number 4, See It Again, and number 7, Charles Dickens. I think Charles Dickens didn't get the run of the race last time. I'm going to put it that way, and I think he'll give a much better account of himself here. But I do believe that See It Again will have his measure, and I'm expecting the winner to come from one of these two. I'm not looking for ghosts here. Number 4, See It Again, and number 7, Charles Dickens. They've been backed to the exclusion of the field, 9 to 10, 13 to 10, 16 to 1 bar 2. But, and this is a big but, and it comes too late for the exotics. As I mentioned a moment ago, if Red Palace and Beach Bomb were to overturn Princess Colour, then you've got to take a second look at Snow Pilots and Shlui. Many have said that this year's renewal of the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas was substandard. Well, Red Palace ran second behind the Colts, and if she overturns Princess Colour, who's got form very closely measured to See It Again, then Snow Pilot, might start to shorten in the market, but of course we'll only know that after the running of race 6. Too late for the exotics. I'm going to take my chances, bankering number 4, See It Again, in the buy pot. Only 2 horses for me in the jackpots and the pick sixes, 4, See It Again, and 7, Charles Dickens. Of course, we saw a massive upset last year when El Matano, who's back again, won the race at 80 to 1, beating Charles Dickens. So, of course, there's always the potential for an upset, but that's not the way I'm playing it.
Yeah, and I think the majority will be with you here, Graham. Just on that rerun that we did show, we know that Charles Dickens ran third, great run, but See It Again, wow. What a performance from him, making it 2 from 2 this season. And he is the reigning WSB Met favourite. If he wins this, he's going to shorten much further than that. I think he'll be an outright favourite in a big way if he wins this, and especially if he wins this well. But it is his race to lose on the performance last time out. But Graham makes Charles Dickens a serious threat, and he expects a bit better than he showed last time out. He's trading at around 12 to 10 and See It Again at 9 to 10. It's going to be a tremendous race. I mentioned last year was a huge upset. Well, we don't see it that way in 2024. Race number 8, Jet Dark Stakes, 1,200 meters. Graham, we're at the latter end of the race meeting. It's crunch time now. The exotics are running. The pick 6 numbers that you have suggested have all fallen into place. How are we going to go here? Number 1 at 10 to 1. Then we go on to horse number 5, 6 to 1 into 9 to 2. 10 at 6 to 1. 11 at 8 to 1, Number 14 at 6 to 1. And number 16 at 7 to 1. Graham, I've taken down betting of 2 horses here that are in double figures. You may have had a look at some outsiders as well. Number 1, USA's Hope at 10 to 1. And this horse called Double Charge, number 13 at 14 to 1. Those 2 horses will get my vote if guys are looking to play wide in the pick 6.
I'm going to add one more to that list of 2 that you've given, because those 2 are amongst my top 3 selections. USA's Hope's my 3rd selection. Double Charge is my 2nd selection. And my top choice is 25 to 1 at the moment. So I'm going to back a couple of horses in here. My top choice, you might think I've fallen off the earth, is number 9, Street Outlaw. Now, like Double Charge, plummeting in the ratings. A 3-point drop, a 3-point drop, a 7-point drop, and now another 4-point drop. He's down from a 99 to an 82. Of course, whether he'll ever recapture the promising form he showed early in his career is open to question. He hasn't won for 728 days. Not a bad run behind King of the Gauls last time out. He deserves to be 25 to 1, and maybe I'm being Wackhead Simpson going for number 9, Street Outlaw, but I'm backing him. I'm backing number 13, Double Charge, who's also dropped massively in the ratings and was slightly ahead of Street Outlaw when 3rd behind King of the Gauls. So double charge at 14 to 1. I'm having a bet on that. I'm backing Street Outlaw at 25 to 1. And in case they both go missing, I think the 10 to 1 an offer about USA's Hope, whose course and distance form reads 4 starts for 2 wins and 2 seconds and was narrowly beaten by King of the Gauls last time out. I think that'll be the third string to my betting bow. And they're all big prices. But they're big prices because this is a very, very tough Class 3 handicap, the Jet Dark Stakes. Many with chances. Tough terrain, top of the boards, as you've mentioned, but he's gone up 7 pounds in the ratings, while others are plummeting around him. Dumbledore is dropping in the ratings. Bright Green is dropping in the ratings. Cafe Culture has won 3 in a row, gone up 6, gone up another 3. But his form is so good. Richard Faree rides. For the first time he rides Cafe Culture, so he must have a chance, although I think the handicapper might well be getting to grips with Cafe Culture. Dance Variety, exceptional form, needed his last run when his prior 2 before that. He's also been pumped up the ratings from around 83 at one stage to 95, but he'll be competitive. And then, of course, Future Variety could be anything. He's got up 5 points for his last win. It all adds up to a very, very tough race. But like you, I'm looking for the value, and I'm going to have a number of different bets on big-priced horses.
Well, if you're listening to this preview, unless you like something, you've done your work, you're looking for some guidance, maybe for the horses to include. If you like something, that is your selection. But if you're listening into the show, if you don't get excited about these type of comments, number 1, USA's Hope, 10 to 1. Number 9, Street Outlaw, 25 to 1. And number 13, Double Charge at 14 to 1. It's not very often that you find analysts and presenters agree on big price horses. But I'm glad that Graham and I are singing off the same hymn sheet here. 1, 9, and 13. You have to play these horses in all your bets. And you have to have a go, whether it's trifectas, quartets. What an exacta that will be. Race number 8. Wow. I'll be watching that race closely for Graham's selection, along with USA's Hope and, of course, Double Charge. And Graham's selection is a 25 to 1 shot, number 9, Street Outlaw. We close things off in race number 9. We got the result that we needed in race number 8, Graham. Tickets have fallen. The pick 6 is worth money, even though Princess Kala has won, even though See It Again has won. In race number 8, tickets have fallen. How do we survive the last leg? Glorious Goodwood Chairman's Cup. It's a Group 3 over 2,500 meters. And as we've come to know with these type of races, luck in running, stamina, well-being of the horse, everything needs to fall into place. But the most important thing with races like this is you need a horse that's super fit, and you need a horse that has very little or no stamina doubts. And I could make a case for almost the entire field when it comes to stamina. So most of them tick that department. So I think it's going to boil down to tactics and luck in running. Number 1, that has shortened into 10 to 1, Graham, from 14 to 1. Number 1, so I've just taken down that betting. Number 3, Sensor Unicorns at 7 to 1. 4 is a scratching. Some of them have been adjustments. 5 is at 8 to 1 into 11 to 2 on Hollywoodbets. 6, Blackthorn at 8 to 1. Then we go on to number 8, Aragosta at 28 to 10. 9, Nebraska at 8 to 1. 10, One-Way Traffic, who is becoming a headache if you've gone for him in the past. If you haven't followed him, well, he's saved you a lot of cash, because he's cost many a race goer from the time he's been racing in KZN towards the end of last season, where he always seems to attract the interest from the punter. Graham, the 9th race, as I mentioned, it's 2,500 meters. It's the last leg of the pick 6. You're sitting with a ticket in hand. How many horses? I know you, if you got the field, I mean, you just sit back and relax. But how many horses would you be comfortable to reduce this to a reasonable cost of a perm?
I think 5 horses, D's, which is just one short of you requiring to put in the field. But of course, as you've mentioned, pace and luck in running could play a role. Many of these horses met on the 2nd of December over the same course and distance, when Aragosta romped home to victory over Razor Hallelujah, with One-Way Traffic back in 3rd. I don't see why the order should change. So Aragosta is my top choice, despite having to carry 62 kilograms. Richard Fourie really gets on well with this Mike de Kock trained son of Rafif. If you go back to the last 3 times that Richard Fourie has ridden this horse, he ran third in the Summer Cup on the 26th of November, beaten a length and a half by Puerto Manzano. Then he rode him in the season, second to Runaway Song, and then he rode him last time when he beat Razor Hallelujah in a feature on the 2nd of December. So Aragosta, top choice, Razor Hallelujah, second choice, one-way traffic, third choice in a repeat copy and paste result of the last run. But Nebras, we know, is a proven stayer of high quality, and he ran a very good race over 1,800 metres behind Master of Doubt last time. So you've got to throw number 9, Nebras, into the mix, because he really is a good stayer when on best form. And the only other one I would throw in, because he's not proven over the distance, but he's got nice form, and that is number 5, Future Swing. The furthest he's been is 2,000 metres. He flew up to run second in the Peninsula Handicap last time out after having won the Algoa Cup. Prior to that, he's got a low weight, so we need to have one low-weighted runner in the race. Muzi Henny rides again for the Justin Snaith stable. There's no reason why on pedigree he shouldn't get home over 2,500 metres. So I think you have to throw number 5, Future Swing, into the mix. So to answer your question, my 5 numbers for the last leg of the pick 6 would be numbers 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
I like that. 5 runners. Of course, number 4 is a scratching, so 11 go to post, and Grammer's hit it on the button there. 5 out of 11, which makes it the rule coming into place. So that's it, Graham. You've given us some wonderful input in the respective races. But let's go to your suggested bet, which comes up on screen now.
Thank you, Dees. The bipod, well, as we know, it's that juvenile race that kicks it all off. And, of course, Roman Agent could well step off that promising debut and be a winning favourite. So maybe I've read this race wrong, but I'm taking no chances. I'm going to include the scratching just in case the tote favourite comes in. So we're going all of numbers 3, 4, 6, 9, 11, 12, 13 and 14. A number of well-backed horses there. Certainly a number of very well-bred newcomers. Second leg, which is the Winchester Sprint Cup. Again, I'm taking on the favourite, Isi Vungu Vungu. Makes his seasonal debut for big weight. He got beaten in this race last year by Mr. Cobbs. Mr. Cobbs is now 4 kilograms better off for that. So I'm going all of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 10. Yes, I'm throwing even in the 40-1 chance Hunting Trip, who's well weighted in the race. So all of Thunderstruck, Bereave, Rio Karari, Isi Vungu Vungu, Mr. Cobbs and Hunting Trip. Then numbers 3, 7, 12 and 15 in the Cartier Scepter Stakes. October Morn, Mrs. Geriatrics, Winter Cloud and Golden Hostess. Then 3, 4, 5 and 10 in the Premier Trophy. That is without question at my command, Bakaya and Rascallion. Then banker number 3, Princess Keller, and banker number 4, See It Again. My value bet comes in the Premier Trophy. Rascallion at 16-1. He won the race last year. I think very close again. And as we were discussing when we touched on race 8, my lurker for the day, if I can describe it as that, is number 9, Street Outlaw, 25-1 in race 8. But I do have healthy respect for your fancy there, Double Charge and USS Hope, all at big prices.
Well, you can see Graham's thinking when you have a look at his selections there in the bar pot. In the first few races, he's gone wide, hoping to survive and hoping to beat some of the more fancied runners in those fields. And then at the back end, when we close things off, he's hoping that the cream will rise to the top with the classy individuals. Graham, you've just told me off air when we spoke before doing the show that you will be on course tomorrow at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. And have a wonderful day, and I'm sure you're going to be treated to some high-class action. I'm envious that you're there.
Thank you, Dees. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a fabulous meeting, and hopefully, as you say, the cream rises to the top.
Thanks to Graham Hawkins, to you, the valued racing fan. Have a blast, find all the winners, and hopefully it turns out to be a very successful day for you. And you catch that pick 6, 1 million carryover, estimated to reach 5 million rand. On behalf of Gallop TV, Graham Hawkins, myself, Dees Dynan, until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gashle.